Never order a mystery box from the dark web. Boredom is hitting everyone hard right now, with social distancing a top priority. We are all finding interesting ways to keep ourselves occupied. I think I may have ventured a little too much though. It all started 3 weeks ago. Sitting in my bedroom, I tossed a softball into the air for a few minutes before I sat up on the edge of my bed. I looked over at my laptop I had been neglecting since I dropped out of college. I turned it on and began surfing. Nothing much had changed on the net. I visited all the regular sites I used to: Pinterest, YouTube, Tumblr. I thought about what I could do with that piece of technology. This triggered a craving I had had for a long time, the want to visit the dark web. I had heard only terrible things. It's a place to find organs, drugs, and weapons. I had no use for any of those things, but still, curiosity got the best of me. Before I knew it, I was downloading the browser that would bridge my access. Aside from all those scary things I could find on the dark web, I had seen some videos a while back about mystery boxes. You can pay anywhere from $5 to hundreds of dollars for a plain brown box filled with goodies. The contents were undisclosed, hence the mystery part. This could be something fun, as it was definitely enticing. A 5-minute search landed me on a site that had exactly what I was looking for. Now, I did not have as much cash to just blow, so I had a modest budget of $20. I searched through countless sellers, although I could not exactly tell you why. There was no way of determining which would be the best option, since the descriptions were quite vague. Still, I was a little nervous I was flushing a crisp Jackson down the toilet. Knowing my luck, I'd receive a box with a piece of chewed up bubblegum inside. My laptop was one of those you could fold in half and turn into a tablet. So I decided for fate to choose my purchase. I entered my budget in the filters and converted my laptop to tablet form. I closed my eyes and swiped my finger upwards, then pressed down to make my selection. The selection was not all that great, but I was tired of searching already. I read through what was available. Mystery box, life-changing. Valued at, priceless. My loss, your gain, smiley face. Sounded good enough to me as I typed in my credit card information, name, and address, as if my body was not agreeing with what I was commanding. The box arrived just 3 days later. I could hardly contain my excitement as I carried it into my bedroom. I sat it on my bed and studied it a bit. No return address, typical. My fingernails began picking at the tape and tearing it away. Pulling the flaps apart revealed sparkly tissue paper. Cute. The contents inside, not so cute. There was a muddy pair of shoes, no big deal I guess, but it was a little weirder that the pair of shoes seemed brand new. The soles were not worn out, the tongue did not have the crease and the wrinkles that you would expect, and the insides were almost spotless. The next item was a tiny black crushed velvet bag, the kind of bags you pull closed with strings. The feeling was not very impressive. I shook the bag around a bit and thought it sounded like little rocks inside. I pulled the mouth apart and poured out the contents into my hand. An audible "fuck" escaped my lips. My hand flipped over to break the contact it had with my skin. They scattered. Teeth? Really? I let my body rid the creeps by giving a little shiver. I peered back into the box. One more item remained. A diamond ring. Maybe this box wasn't such a dud after all. I'm no jeweler, but I did know that a quick look at the band of authentic gold would most likely result in finding the carats in small print. $18K, not bad. I sized up the ring, which was visibly small. I wondered if I could have it altered. I might as well get something usable out of this. The next day, I carried my small finding to a local jewelry shop. I inquired about the authenticity, which they verified. A small fee, and a day later, I was sporting new ice. I was pleased with my purchase enough to leave a modest review to my seller, but when I tried to rate him or her, my laptop froze up. I tried everything I could to reboot with no success. Holding down the power button, closing and reopening, pressing a combination of keys. Finally, I gave up and let it do its own thing. An hour later, it finally powered off and restarted. I blew this off as a mandated update. The screen displayed the typical downloading files followed by a slow restarting bar filling horizontally. After all that mess, I did not bother to revisit the website. I had probably caught a bug on the damn thing and was lucky it still worked at all. My day was interrupted by a knock on the door. At the other side of my door stood a man who towered over me. I only poked my head out and placed my hand on the outside of the door, almost hugging it, obviously uncomfortable with an unexpected visitor. The man at the door verified my name, then asked if I would follow him down to the station, just to ask me a few questions. Station? What station? I asked. The police station, he responded. In the middle of us talking, I noticed that he was staring at my hand, which I jerked away, still unconvinced with what this was all regarding. Regardless, I was too scared to question him, and did as he asked. We arrived at the police station where I was guided into a small room. Only a desk and 3 chairs were inside, a video camera in the corner. The officer proceeded to ask me questions. Where I was on some night 3 years prior, where I was on some night 8 months prior, if I knew a young woman by the name of Selena Ramos, if I was familiar with a lady named Melody Stacy. It was all a bit much to take in, but I gladly obliged, as I had no idea where they were going. I knew I had done nothing wrong. I knew I had nothing to hide. I knew that the faster I answered their questions, the faster it would all be over with. I remained in that room for hours. He asked me the same questions in different formats, in an attempt to catch me in a lie. He asked for my permission to search my home, grab what they needed, give my fingerprints, all that good stuff. Again, as I had nothing to hide, I agreed. Trying to explain where the things came from was no use. They only circled back to my search history. They claimed to know this was my scapegoat and even advised me I wasn't going to get out of this one. The officer stated, "We are not buying your bullshit. There was no black web visited from your computer. There is no purchase made from Wolves 382. Just face it, we got you." That was enough to make my tears stop. I cocked my head sideways and said, "Excuse me? What did you say?" I continued, "Wolves 384? How did you know the name of the seller?" I couldn't even remember the name of the seller. For a millisecond, I saw him swallow a heavy gulp, then he fixed his tie. "Cut it out. You told me." "That's what you said when we were at your house," he said. No, you're lying. I didn't say shit. You didn't even tell me why you were there. Why the fuck would I bring that up?" Like clockwork, a second detective enters the room and interrupts me. He doesn't say anything besides officially putting me under arrest for kidnapping, murder, and false imprisonment. I believe there was more, but I did not catch everything. My surroundings became fuzzy. I felt like I was going to be sick, and my hearing was fading in and out. I just spoke with my lawyer. He says they have a solid case against me. They found Selena's teeth in my apartment. They caught me with Melody's wedding ring, and the shoes they had photographs of me throwing away matched the shoe prints left at Melody's crime scene. My laptop had gruesome photos of their bloated and rotted bodies. My search history was criminal, such as how to frame someone for murder and how to hack someone's computer. Not to mention the anonymous tip they have on file claiming I had gotten drunk one night and confessed to the murders. I don't even fucking drink. Worst of all, being such an introvert and loner, I have no way to prove my locations for the dates provided. There's no use. I stand warned that I need to sign a plea or risk the death penalty. The cases have been going for years now. The government is just ready to solve it, and nothing closes a case better than a guilty plea.